Good morning, allies. It is Monday, April 6th. Here's your Cup of Jones cheers. Saw people in chat actually inquiring, Heru, I believe, was inquiring about the cup. Do I have several of these? Like Pee Wee Herman style. Do I have a whole closet just full of cups? This is it. This is the one cup. Amanda also has a cup. It's a little different. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I got this at the Ren Fair. Shout out to the Ren Fair, which is one of the many things they had to cancel this spring that we were planning to attend, but could not. So would love to be at the Ren Fair, but cheers, everybody. But yeah, and Zephyr Moon added that this is the cup when I remember it, which is one of the perks. You got to look on the bright side. Silver lining if you can. And I remember it a lot more when I don't leave the house. Cheers, everybody. I wish there was coffee in this. I did have a cup of coffee. I was up late last night because I was gathering all of the community showcase posts. There are like 3 people that still didn't post by the time I went to bed, which was at 3:30 in the morning. And so get those in, man. I'll check right before the showcase. But I'm going to do my editorial today on the showcase because I kindly every month mention, hey, we have guidelines for the showcase. Please, stick to the guidelines if you can. And people don't. And so I'm going to mention those. I don't think I've ever really got into that on Cup of Jones before. I had a different editorial planned. Maybe I'll do that next week. Did not have time to really put that together. Is that dishwasher safe? It is not. I've never put that in the dishwasher. The dishwasher will melt that puppy. But yes. Hi. Brandon Jones, Easy Allies, Cup of Jones. How are you? We are finally cranking out some reviews after a little bit, and our reviews are doing very well. Final Fantasy VII Remake went up today, edited by yours truly. I also cut RE3. Happy to cut both of those because those were projects. RE3 is obviously a game I'm very much looking forward to. Final Fantasy VII Remake is now a game that it has been creeping up my interest list for a very long time. And shout out to, obviously Hubert did a great job with the RE3 review. Shout out to Brad Ellis, who I think did a really great job with the script for Final Fantasy VII. And we don't really communicate this very often, but did a really good job just on my end from all the gameplay that he had captured, how that was organized. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a miscommunication between the scripts that the editors are given, namely myself and Ian and Dawn, and the points that are brought up in the review. Sometimes the reviewer will mention a like very specific point, and we're like, I don't have footage of that. And it's like, oh, right, I'll go get that. And it's like, why did you write it in the script? Why did you make a point to say that weapon if I don't have a clip of it? And all that stuff lined up really well. It was really, really fun footage to go through. And I know some of you might be nervous about spoilers. I haven't played the game, so I can't say. I also didn't get credits on Final Fantasy VII ever, even in the last 20 years of the opportunities that I've had. But I was very reserved in the stuff that he sent me. There were lots of stuff that I could show, lots of clips, lots of characters, and lots of moments. I was like, a couple moments that I actually put in the review, and I was like, no. And Animal Crossing is in edit. I have sent the script to Bloodworth. I have gotten the script back. I have put in the voiceover, put in a little bit of music, dropped in a couple shots, but I will hopefully have time and energy to cut that after the showcase today, but I don't know. Hopefully that will go up tonight. I definitely don't want to hold the Final Fantasy VII Remake review back at all. Not expecting my Animal Crossing review to do the wonderful numbers of our last couple reviews. Final Fantasy VII is on track to break 100K. I believe Bloodworth said it's about 50K right now. But the Resident Evil 3 review broke 100K. And Half-Life Alyx is also in production. That should be available this week for all of you to check out. And boy, is everything getting good scores. I'll tell you, everything. I am enjoying Animal Crossing. You'll find out my score when the review goes up. But RE3 got a good score. Final Fantasy VII Remake got a good score. Everything, good games this year for all. So this is definitely a trying time for everybody. But at least we got some really, really quality entertainment and some other fun stuff that I look forward to covering and playing when I'm done with Animal Crossing, because my life has pretty much just been Animal Crossing in the digital space. Community Showcase immediately following this episode of Cup of Jones. Maybe not immediately. I'm probably going to wrap this up shortly after 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then at 1 p.m., I'm going to gather with Kyle. That is going to be a very technically interesting episode of the showcase. I'm going to have Kyle picture in picture with me, and then he's going to be watching what I'm doing, but you're going to be watching him through Zoom. And yeah, we'll see hopefully if that works. But lots of really great submissions. It should, as maybe some of you have anticipated, it's probably going to be a very emotional episode of the showcase. It will be Kyle's last community showcase. We are down to just weeks, if not days, left to just, milk, to squeeze the juice out of the Kyle Bossman lemon as much as we possibly can before he's gone. Traveling. He's going somewhere, and we're happy about that for him. It's not morbid like that. And I shot my final Fiasconauts with Kyle Bossman last night. I was very sleep deprived from just all of the work that I've been doing for the last couple of days. There were 2 spots in the last Fiasconauts where I just blanked, man. I just stopped talking. I don't even know where this is going. I don't know. I definitely got picked on a little bit. My characters were not very sure of themselves last night during the Fiasconauts. But it was a digital Fiasconauts. It was very interesting. It was fun doing Fiasconauts in Zoom because we could put funny pictures behind us and really transport ourselves to another world. It was also Fiasconauts that it took 2 days to shoot that Fiasconauts because we gathered together, figured out all of the information, all of our not our names yet. Maybe my favorite name of all time that I've ever put on a Fiasconaut from last night. Maybe if you can zoom in, Jessica Lynn Verdi posted a picture of it. I don't know if you can zoom in and see my name, but zoom in on Zoom, do a zoom, and see what my name was. But it was interesting. Yeah, interesting doing it digitally that way. Interesting just like looking at everybody on a screen while we're all improvising characters. But improv and cameras of people sitting at their desks is a thing now. A lot of Amanda's an improv actor, so a lot of people are doing that. Blood has not played RE3 yet. I have not finished RE3 yet. I think I'm only like an hour and a half into RE3. I have not had a lot of time to invest in that. So lots of games. And I got the schedule. Apologies, Bloodworth. That's all I got, man. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of updates this week. Again, I was focused mostly on the showcase last night. So a very quick update from me. Again, you can check this schedule right here. On EasyAllies.com in your own time zone. Blood's been pretty hardcore on Animal Crossing, and then as soon as he gets through it, Bloodwife is in. Nice. Cool. Hung out with Bloodworth and Bloodwife. Got to get them in my review. Went to go visit their island. Got to get the other allies' islands in. I'm mostly done. 151 clips captured for the Easy Allies Animal Crossing review. I love being hardcore in Animal Crossing. Hardcore. Cubba Jones, you're watching it. It's right there. Monday, 10 a.m. It's happening right now. We're in the future. The Community Showcase, Kyle Bossman. On Twitch, not here. You're going to want to leave YouTube and go to Twitch to watch that. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the stream team is playing Good Job, which Shadow dropped last week. It's fun to have a game pop up out of nowhere, and then bam, we're playing it. Resident Evil Resistance will continue with... oh no, that's multiplayer for a group stream Tuesday night. I will hopefully get to play it this time. I just hung around and talked. Apologies for stealthily backing out of the stream when we did a group stream, but I didn't get to play with the guys, and then later they were playing Doom, and I was like, why am I still in Discord? I got work to do, so I bailed. But we will hopefully do some administrator stuff. I don't know, is it the manager, the administrator? I don't know what it's called, but we will be possibly playing on PlayStation 4. I don't know. I mean, that is what I have. It's interesting because that's what I have Resistance for, and I know Huber has it for PS4, and so I think we're probably going to be playing on PS4, but I'm not sure. Bravely Default 2 demo, which I am so jealous. Mr. Kyle Bossman, Tuesday night, getting as many streams in as he possibly can in the month of April. Mastermind, there we go, thank you. I went to go update. What was I doing? I went to the store on Switch to look for something, to test the internet or something. I went to go download it, and I was like, I completely forgot. Yeah, PS4, we got 5 codes. Nice. And I bought it like a sucker. That 1 hour was worth it, though. That night that it launched, that I stayed up a little later than I probably should have to play. That was worth it. That was worth $59.99. I saw that Bravely Default 2 demo. It was like, wait, I should have known this. People were talking about Bravely Default 2, and they were talking about a demo, but there it is. But yeah, I go, oof, and I downloaded it. I'm probably not going to play it, but I mean, I don't know when Bravely Default 2 comes out, but loved Bravely Default 1. Didn't play Bravely 2nd, but I'm very excited about Bravely Default 2. Excited about, give me some more turn-based RPGs on the Switch, please. And then Wednesday at 1, some more Resistance, along with Resident Evil 3 for Mike and Mike. Wednesday at 7, I'm doing another Easy Allies Animal Crossing Community Island Hop, which if you want to be a part of, you can see the Patreon post, which is now a little bit back there. I posted it in the comments at the end of the last Community Hop, Island Hop, which I did on Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm going to stagger the time. I think the next time I do it, I will probably do it early in the morning, in case that is more convenient for anybody throughout the week. I know some of you are obviously have your own responsibilities, whether you are inside of your house or outside of your house during this pandemic. But that is a lot of fun, and I just want to thank, as long as I'm speaking to our community, I just want to thank our community for really making those special. That's a lot of fun for me. A little bit of code wrangling and name memorization beyond, some of the responsibilities that I normally have here at Easy Allies. But it's really fun to see what all of you are up to. It's really fun to visit your towns. Everyone has been so welcoming. Sometimes a little bit creepy, but that has also been fun as well. And I really enjoy doing that, and I will continue to do that for the foreseeable future. Dreams Lovers is going to end at some point. That's Thursday at 5 this week, but Animal Crossing, well, hopefully we'll play that forever. Huber Syndrome on YouTube on Thursday. Persona 5 Royal with Ben Moore on Thursday as well at 12. Weekly Hunts, also Ben leading that, Thursday at 2:30. Final Fantasy VII Remake with Mr. Michael Damiani. I think that's 12 to 7. I think he's gonna play a lot of that game. So if you're hungry for some Resident Evil and some Final Fantasy, you've come to the right place. Friday night with Kyle. For his usual Friday night streams, he will be doing a PS4 grab bag. Always fun to have a grab bag from Kyle, which I'm guessing means he got through Robot Alchemic Drive. I did not watch the end of that stream, although I watched a little bit of that. The podcast, Friday and Sundays as usual, easy update on Saturday, and then Kyle's Never Too Late to Dreamcast stream, which he will then package together for you to watch. There we go. All right. Not many business questions. Should be somewhat of a short episode. Let's see if we can do it. Business questions. Cheers. Not prepared for these, gotta admit. I read them, but I have not thought about them. I also snuck a personal question in here because it literally would have taken too much time to type out a coherent answer, and I was like, I'm just gonna mumble through it on the actual show, so. Not a lot of questions. We're gonna wrap up with something personal. Deeply personal. One of the first topics that ever came up actually on my first date with Amanda Troop. One of the first things Amanda Troop and I ever talked about in person will be the final business question today. Brandon K. Gann, what, if anything, has been easier and harder to do more than anything else working from home as opposed to the studio? Do you believe the situation will provide EZA an opportunity to step back and see the process of working from the studio from a comparison perspective, no question, and give you ideas on how to improve once you are able to get back in there and resume normal operations? Sure. Hard to say what those are yet because we are so focused on improving the stuff that we're doing. Like right now, this week is basically okay, we just got through a week that, because we were home for 1 week, but that was EZA, which was just so unlike anything that we've ever done. And then we went through last week, which was a week of our content, our normal content that we produced. And so now we're looking at another week of doing the same stuff. Granted, it's the showcase, and we had the Q&A last week, so there is some stuff that won't be there anymore, but gives us an opportunity to figure out, okay, who needs a new mic? Who needs a new camera? Whose internet is not doing well? I think that's the biggest thing, is planning something and it just doesn't happen. There's not, sometimes things don't work out in the studio because we have technical issues, or, we did have the internet buckle at some point. Thankfully, we've troubleshot a lot of that stuff in the studio. But sometimes when there's, most of the time when there's technical issues, it is our error. It is something that we can learn from and we can take the time to fix moving forward. And sometimes, my sympathies go to Ian Hank and Michael Huber, Brad Ellis, who have had lots of internet issues. Knock on wood, internet's doing well here in the house of the Cup of Jones, the Troop Jones house, the Milo Troop Jones house. And so I think that's one of the biggest struggles and that's definitely been something for me that, especially going into EZX, And that might be frustrating for some of you because I know a lot of you are tuned into what we're doing and you see us reach for the brass ring and mostly get there, but there is just technically something that we didn't consider, something that didn't go as well as it could have. And so bless all of you for showing up at Cup of Jones and for letting us know those things that, you know, might be outside of our periphery that we also need to address. But it's important for us to manage stress and to, in working from home and having our content look and sound worse than it ever has, you know, even back in ye old garage days, even with the first Yeti podcast that we did, episode 1 of the Easy Allies podcast, one thing that's been important for me is to be very zen, you know, just to be like, there are some things that I cannot control. There's some things that are definitely going to go wrong, and that is just the way it is. One example was I keep just saying the service that we were using. It's like Lightstorm, Lightspeed, Light something that we use. We're not using it anymore, so I haven't really given it much thought. But kudos to Ian for figuring out all of the technical specifications that let us test with that. It was fun that we used to just immediately go from like Ian to Damiani and then from Damiani to Blood, just bouncing around when we tried EasyX. Wasn't worth it. We had some issues with it that day, and then the next day we decided like, hey, it's fun to do those clean edits, but it'd be more fun to just have a clean stream with the actual stream. That 1 second of the transition is not worth 2, 3, 4 hours of audio hiccups and weird little technical woes. And so we it's, you know, I don't want those things to happen and be like, we wanted that to go perfect. And so you just kind of want to be like, yep, I knew it. Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And so it's this 2020. I wanted to say the last couple weeks, and it's like, no, EasyX. No, 2020. This entire year basically has really trained my brain to accept failure, to understand that often things are not going to go wrong. And I know you would think that that's something that I would learn from the last 4 years, but I really do struggle with it and I really fight against it. And so I've tried to do my best to keep the allies calm in the face of adversity. And I think that is definitely something that has been hard to do for us because we are all set up from home. Obviously, all of us do have microphones, do have cameras, have streamed from our houses, with the exception of Don. You know, shout outs going out to all of the allies, but a special shout out to Don for streaming from his house for the first time ever in the history of Easy Allies. But all of us were prepared for this. It's just a question of how, what investments do we want to make? How can we make the circumstances better for these allies at home, whether it is, the microphone they're using, the camera they're using, or the internet that they have. What financially can we contribute, to streamline a lot of this stuff? And as you'll see, actually the next question from Ulf himself, which I can jump to, there are things, really simple things that we don't really think of until after the fact. And believe me, Ulf, I did think about this before we did it. But just to wrap up Brandon's question, which has been easier? Driving, because we don't do it. That's like so that's why you're seeing, a couple more streams in there, a couple more solo streams, because we don't have to rush home to get other projects finished. We can literally just shut Twitch off and then boom, immediately jump into something else that we're doing. Reviewing Animal Crossing's been tricky though, because there are time constraints. There are things that only take a day. And the other day I signed in and looked up and I was like, why isn't that bridge built? And I was like, oh, I didn't put any money into the thing to build the bridge. That's why it's not built. It's so funny when you put a bridge down, because you got the little Zoid there, and he's like, hey, when you first put it down, he says, hey, we're building the bridge here. We're building an incline or whatever, and I'm collecting money for it. And currently we have 0 bells. Isn't that great? I'm like, that's not great. 0 bell. There's nothing great about 0 bells. But what I learned is and I was like, and it says other people are going to leave money. And it's like, oh, I guess I mean other players. But what they really mean is if you wait a day and you leave it there for a couple days, then villagers over a 24-hour period, then they'll put in money. But I ain't going to put a bridge down unless I got the money for it. Blood adds, trouble with internet is that many of us have the best we can get on paper, but need to make service calls that can take up to 2 weeks or even start addressing the issue. That is correct. And internet is stressed everywhere. Lloyd, is that what it's called? Lloyd? Is the same guy? Lloyd. Thank you for the correction, Bloodworth. Ulf himself, last Cup of Jones, you talked about mortises. How about some mortises for the podcasts? You're 100% right. Would help them look neat and slightly cleaner compared to just naked Zoom windows. Yup. Thought about that. Shout out to Brian Altano and Max Scoville from Up at 5, I think it's called now. Their show Up at Noon is now called Up at 5, or at least the last episode was. And they tweeted it out. And I was like, oh, look, they had a fun little Mortis for the show that they're doing. Right. That's a thing I can do as well. I can create those. So I just don't know. It's tough because, you know, we might have somebody bail on the podcast. We had 3 people 2 weeks ago on the podcast. We had 5 people last week. So, you know, I don't know if I'll have the time to make a Mortis for 5 and 4 and 3. I might have to there will be a Mortis on the next podcast. I'm just not exactly sure what would be the cleanest way to go about it. And it will most likely just be the podcast background. So when you see the Easy Allies podcast logo and then there's all the things floating in the background, it's just going to be that. But there we go. Alexander Zirianov. Each community showcase post has a legal disclaimer about allowing you to show our submissions on stream. And as far as I know, this is the only form of communication with you that includes such legal notice. Legal disclosure is a little intense. It's not, I mean, I didn't run it by a lawyer. I just typed that up. I don't think I used the word legal in there. I don't think we have legal standing. For that. It's just a disclaimer for me to let people understand, like, this is how this thing functions. We don't sign any contract when we ask questions on Cup of Jones podcast in the Q&A, share our thoughts and reaction shots, or submit art to Kyle's streams. Can you please explain why Community Showcase is such a special case? People submit stuff to Kyle's streams because, I mean, it's wonderful. But that's a crazy culture that's developed around Kyle that I got to be a part of during Silver Squad. I'm really curious how, if people just started doing that and then he fostered it and then people started doing it more. Like, I would love to go back. I would love to see a Netflix documentary about the art on Kyle Bossman streams. With the Community Showcase, we're talking about money exchanging hands. We're talking about people giving us $20 to be a part of, $10. $20 is the Q&A. No, it's up there, but $10 is the showcase. People give us $10 to give us something, and then we put that up on Twitch and we get paid for putting it up on Twitch. So I think it's because they're giving us money to show it. We're getting money off of showing it. I think it's prudent to mention, hey, just FYI, you're giving us the right to do that. Basically, that is the limit of the right that we get, is just to show this thing that we are showing. Where I don't think, Kyle does the bits where he says things are disqualified on his streams. Sometimes he'll cut something off if somebody makes a video. I only do that in very specific. Kyle makes it, a bit. I don't make it a bit on the showcase. I try to have, as we will talk about today in the editorial, I try to make that very straightforward. If I don't let something play past 3 minutes, or if I don't, there's actually something, this is the first time I think I've ever done this in the Community Showcase. There's a video today that I had to take the music out completely, and I put a whole different track underneath it because it was licensed music. And the person was like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, don't put licensed music on it because I can't play that. It's like you're not only muting yourself, you're potentially muting other parts of the stream. You're muting the work of other people if you just kind of flagrantly, like, ta-da, just throw some licensed stuff in there. So yeah, it's a special case for that reason, because money is changing hands. And obviously we make money on all the streams that we show art for in other instances. And even just those two things, sometimes we show art on podcasts and stuff. But and it's, I added it because it's there's a specific way that the showcase works. It's like there's a deadline for submissions. There's, for people that are offering different types of submissions, I want to say, like, here's all the things that you can add. So there's a lot of information people need to know. And then as long as I was typing that up, I added, like, well, it, might be prudent to just say, here's how these rights work, by submitting this, it's not, again, it's not legally binding, but like by submitting this, here's what you're doing. Kevin, in my workplace, we are allowed to go back to our offices and grab equipment such as office chairs and monitors to supplement work from home. Last week, you discussed purchasing some equipment to improve the home streaming experience. Are these on top of things already grabbed from the office? Yeah, we didn't grab a lot, and we're not about to. Fun story, I grabbed speaking of grabbing equipment, I grabbed the Valve Index because I was like, Half-Life Alyx, let's do it. And I grabbed the Valve Index. I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna plug in the Valve Index and have a great time playing Half-Life Alyx on this brand new VR console. And I opened it up and I was like, yes, finally gonna get to time to play Half-Life Alyx. And I put out the headset and plugged it into the PC, and my PC was like, headset, got it. And I'm like, cool. And I plugged out these cool controllers with the little wristband that snaps on. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, there's something else. Every VR system has the 3 principles: the headset, the controllers, and the sensors. And I like open up the box and I'm like, sensors. And like my PC was like, waiting on those sensors. Let's do it. And so I text Ian Hank and I'm like, sensors. And he's like, screwed into the ceiling of the streaming room. And I'm like, right. He's like, I wouldn't take those down. I'm like, I will not go to the office and unscrew those to then screw them into my ceiling to then just play one video game. So I was like, all right, Oculus Rift, let's do it. So I broke out the Oculus Rift and played it on that. And it's wonderful. If you have an Oculus Rift and are maybe holding off for an Index, don't. Half-Life Alyx holds up and it is amazing. Haven't finished that game either, but so because you think about me not grabbing those sensors, because it's like, let's just keep those there. We don't want to add a ton of hassle when all of this is over and we eventually, move back into the studio. We don't want to then remind people, everybody remember to bring your stuff back in. Okay, wait, you had this mic and that was where or whatever. It's like, this is a great opportunity. We have a little extra money. We're not buying groceries. We're not replacing toilet paper and paper towels and, trash bags and all the stuff that we were spending money on previously in the studio. It's like, let's take that money, if we can put that stuff aside, and take this opportunity to do something that we normally wouldn't, which is invest in, because we've bought some PCs for some of the allies in the past. We bought this microphone this was Amanda's old microphone. No, we bought this microphone previously for voiceover and for me doing Cup of Jones. And so it makes sense, we consider it an okay investment, instead of going into the office and grabbing stuff. I did grab, just full disclosure, I did grab a bag of Skittles, that big bag that we got. It was just sitting there, hadn't been opened yet. I went back in to grab the Valve Index and I was like, I'm taking these Skittles. And I grabbed a couple of those maple candies and I ate them. So it's okay, we think, for us to, or at least just personally, I think it's okay to buy the stuff on top of that, instead of having people go in. And again, I know that, you're allowed to go back into your offices to grab equipment. If we don't really need to, it's nice to stay indoors as long as we can. Trash bags. Oh, we haven't emptied the trash before we closed up. Nope. But somebody actually brings that up. They're like, go by the office. And I plan to. I will probably go by the office this week now that I'm done with Animal Crossing and just kind of, check in. We do have a security camera that we look in on the office, but yeah. There wasn't piles and piles and piles of trash in places, but yeah, should probably take that trash out. It's Kyle Bossman's job. Oh, I would love to call Kyle. Hey, Kyle, one word. Trash. Hasney. Easy Allies are some of the many companies that have started using Zoom during the current situation, but it looks like they have serious privacy and exploit issues. Link below. I have seen said link and watched a couple videos on the subject. Does this make you reconsider using the application? And if so, do you have any other ideas of what software to use? Yes. No. If only Google didn't get rid of Hangouts on air. True. No, we still plan to continue using Zoom. There are precautions that you need to take, settings that you need to, I always, unplug and move away my camera when I'm not recording stuff on shows. I don't have privacy woes when it comes to having my mic or camera pick up things when they are pointed at me, because that's my job. But I don't want to make light of that stuff. I don't want to tell people, use Zoom, just use it. Who cares? For us, it's really, really worked out. And it is a integral part of our business right now. So it's just not something we can very easily stop using. But yeah, that is a discussion that we have had ever since those security issues, privacy and exploit issues have come to light. Obviously, personal information and all of that stuff isn't super great as well. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed you don't get COVID. Fingers crossed people don't hack our information through Zoom. Fingers crossed pretty hard right now. Edvin, about a month ago on the Smash Brothers group stream, you made a joke about streaming. About a month ago, you made a joke, ... is a scary way to start a Cup of Jones question. About streaming Pokemon with Ben. I would never joke about streaming Pokemon with Ben. After Kyle made fun of how you pronounced Giraffarig, which I probably just botched again. I always, whenever I mispronounce something, it's usually because I don't notice that there's an animal name in there. So giraffe, I think, was the Giraffarig. Giraffarig? It's giraffe in both directions. It's giraffe and then giraffe backwards. Giraffarig? Everybody laughing at me. I don't deserve this. This is why I don't want to play Pokemon anymore. I got it this time? No botch. Nice. All I really got to stare at a name for a long time before I do it. Sleep deprived, and I still got it. Considering the recent announcement of the upcoming Kyle departure, alongside the fact that Ben has streamed Pokemon in the past and seemed positive to the idea, the pieces are slowly falling into place. Obviously, you guys probably know when it best comes to the streaming plans, and even before Kyle's announcement, I wasn't expecting Emerald until 2021 or 2022 at least. Emerald it is. I love it. It's Emerald. It's not just Emerald Sapphire. It's Emerald now, I guess. I do, between the two, between the color red and the color green, I do like green. But I wanted to put this idea into your head for the future, as I'm sure I'm not the only one who would love to see a Jones and Ben Pokemon stream. So I guess to make this a question, how would you feel about streaming Emerald with Ben? I would love it. I would love it. But again, yeah, I want to distance myself very far from Pokemon, and I certainly want to distance myself from playing Pokemon with someone who's not Kyle. It doesn't matter who it is. I could play Pokemon with Hugh Jackman, and I'd be like, Hugh, Mr. Jackman, it's too soon. Kyle just left. You know, I just finished Silver Squad, this wonderful video, which you should watch, Mr. Jackman, by the way. I just don't feel it's appropriate for us to do it at this time. Yeah, I will definitely throw that at him. And I just don't want to lock myself into something that just like goes on forever. It's just like, it's like, okay, now it's time to play Pokemon Sun. It's like, I've already played Pokemon Sun. We're done. We're finished. I'm not playing any more Pokemon games. XWF Outlaw. My question is, in regards to how gifts from other allies will be handled going forward. They will be handed off to the wonderful United States Postal Service. And I hope there's nothing in there that will spoil. With the city of Los Angeles on lockdown, do you still have access to the P.O. Box? No. I maybe do. I am not going to the post office. Not going into that room. Not with a 10-month-old child. Not with parents who are potentially immunocompromised. Not with a job like this to do. Not under house arrest. No way. If so, will gifts be still a part of the group streams in its current format? No. I ask mainly because I have a gift for Kyle I wanted to give him in person at EasyX, but obviously that didn't happen. We will definitely use Easy Allies funds to pass on any packages that we get, and hopefully the post office will hang on to our stuff. If stuff gets back to you, sorry. If maybe we can, Kyle's not going to pass on an address, but if you send us stuff, we will pass that along. I don't want to break our budget by doing that. Hopefully Kyle's not moving out of the country. But now it's been made public that Kyle will be leaving at the end of the month. I want to make sure the gift I would be sending him would be given in time before he leaves. And finally, going forward, will there be a screening process to be sure any future gifts are not potentially harmful to the allies? I mean, there always is a screening process through the post office, and through us as well. I hope you and the other allies are doing well and staying safe out there. Thank you, Outlaw. Ibrahim Sozer, don't know your restrictions, but I hope you guys are checking everything is good in the studio. Yes. I don't think there's a rule to go to the office. Things can get stolen, and you can probably drop off the stuff people have sent to the post office there, etc. Not going to the post office. Not going to do it. Hopefully you'll understand. But yeah, and we have the camera as well, which is a fun way to know if the internet's died in the studio. So we'll get an email. It's like, your camera's offline. Like, oh, really? I do have access, but yeah, up to you. Yeah, I might maybe I'll throw on gloves and put on my face mask. Thanks, both of my mothers, my mother and my mother-in-law, both make me, I'm not in house arrest, I'm just joking. And I like that you capitalized that. Is there a movie? House Arrest, the movie? Asbo Zapruder, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I'll give it a shot and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, if Easy Allies were sailors on a 24-hour leave in New York City, would it go on a taxicab tour of the city, visit the Museum of Natural History, or wander around looking for true love? It depends on the allies. Some of us might be looking for true love, but that taxicab tour sounds jolly as heck. Maybe stream it from our Twitch thing. It's a hell of a town. Cabbage Lad, are you planning on doing a Dreams Lovers supercut like you did with Silver Squad? No. I thought about this last night, though. The Silver Squad movie is enjoyable, and from what I've seen out of context clips of the making of Who's in My Bathroom, I'd love to get one, but understood of the current situation and other commitments won't make that possible. Maybe I'll reconsider this. Maybe it'll be a way for me to therapeutically get over the loss of a beloved friend and coworker. To travel. Not to any illness or health concerns. He's traveling. But there's just not the type of narrative. It's like when I cut the Silver Squad stream, what you're not seeing in there is very repetitive logistical stuff around what we were specifically doing in the game, and just Kyle. There was one time where he joked at Tom Brady or something, and I thought that was really funny, and I wanted to keep that in there. But a lot of the real world conversations that we were having, a lot of the jokes and the anecdotes and stuff like that. Like, I was like, this is just kind of, padding it. I really want to, cut this down to as short as it possibly can be. Hard to find that through line through Dreams Lovers. It is shorter, so it would be a shorter video. I'm not chomping at the bit to spend, 20 hours cutting another one of those things, but I just don't think it's easy to find that arc, and it would be easy or as entertaining. Dreams Lovers has been a little stressful, and that's the thing about Silver Squad. It was so jolly and so funny and so goofy, and there have been funny moments, but it just doesn't. It's not easy for me. I can't imagine where I would make the cuts. You know what I mean? I can't imagine. And if I could figure out where those cuts were logistically, I don't know if it would be easy to follow if you were just watching it. It would be fun to see the level to come together very quickly. I'm kind of terrified to see the final product when we're done with this whole thing. I'm going to be finishing Animal Crossing with that review and then immediately going into trying to do as much work on that level as I possibly can before Thursday. But I don't have plans to do it right now. Yeah, it's not on my schedule, but I'll consider it. I know it's supposed to be champing? Oh, champing. Champing at the bit. But seriously, when is that word ever used? Champing. Champing at the bit. That's the thing, is they also chomp. They chomp when they champ. Cabbage Lad. No, just did it. Morgan Mulhalla. How are you and the Allies doing with the California shelter-in-place order? All right. I mean, I can't speak for the other guys. We would like to be in the office. We would like to see each other. Is it safe to assume you are all well and respecting social isolation? Yes. Is there anything the community can do for you or the Allies in these difficult times? Support us on patreon.com/easyallies or Twitch if you would like, or watch our videos on YouTube. Go watch the Final Fantasy VII Remake review. If not for the Allies, is there something you would like to encourage the community to do during the pandemic? That will be next week's editorial that I wanted to do today. I want to talk about general wellness in the time of a pandemic. Don't want to talk about health. Don't want to be spreading information. Don't want to talk about, like, here's what you can do to prevent the spread of COVID-19. I just want to talk about here's what you can do to not go crazy, because I feel that is like our jobs now, kind of. It's really interesting. When I get messages for my Animal Crossing Island hop, a lot of the comments that I've got on through Patreon, the people that have left comments on the Patreon post, and people that have DM'd me on Twitter, a lot of them have given me their friend code, given me the name of their Nintendo character, their Animal Crossing character, giving me the name of their island, and then said, "Thank you for doing this." And I was like, "Oh, whoa!" Like, the way you word that sounds like I'm like on Meals for Wheels. I'm just playing like video games like we usually did. But I think people really enjoy that connection. They really enjoy. It's fun to like. It's weird not to be able to see other human beings in person, other than like delivery people and my immediate family, and then like fly into someone's island. It's a strange, very, very strange world we're living in right now. And so it does kind of just give you a little dose of human interaction there, whether I'm actually visiting your island or not, or whether you are playing Animal Crossing or not. And so I want to talk about what I've been doing, steps that I have been taking that I normally don't do, or normally don't do as much as I've been doing. Meditation, push-ups, sit-ups, stretching, walking, picking certain things to watch. Amanda watches Outlander. She just saw a very depressing episode of Outlander last night. As I came in, she was crying. I was like, "What happened?" She's like, I was like, okay. All right. She's throwing character names at me. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't watch this show. So it's, you definitely want to, try to manage. It's tricky, and it's, for myself, Amanda's very much an extrovert. I'm very much an introvert. We always thought we were both kind of 50-50, and like we've realized in this situation that no, she is an extrovert. She really needs that human contact, and like I'm fine. Like that's how I can, do this weird human contact that we're having. I'm live. You're watching me. I'm talking. I can't hear you, but we do have some sort of a connection going on here, and so it is easy for me to do that. And then when the camera goes off, and if Amanda's like, "I'm going to be gone for the entire day working on a film, and I'm taking Milo with me. You're just going to have to stay at home and entertain yourself," I'd be like, there's no part of me that would be like, "I wish my friends were here so I could stop playing Resident Evil 3 for the 4th time." I would have no problem doing that. So some of us have an easier time dealing with this than others. But don't get cocky. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is something that we are definitely going to, how long is Jones's hair going to get? That's the question. How long is the swoop going to get? I put some product in there to try to get the swoop back. But boy, folks, if this doesn't end until the end of May, you're going to see some crazy shit. My hair's going to look, it's going to look weird. So I think it's a good time to talk about what we can all do to stay a little level-headed and support each other. And shout out to everybody that's been doing that in our community, helping other fellow allies get through this. And thank you for the question, Morgan. Mr. Mags, I've been rewatching a lot of EZA content over the past month. Rewatched an episode of GT Time because it just came up on the Q&A or something, and I was like, GT Time. I dug up the oldest episode that I was on that I could find, because I totally forgot shooting that show back at Viacom, which we totally did. Since there isn't much else to do due to the quarantine, and I noticed that Kyle's voice can be heard during the intros of some of your shows, such as Spoiler Mode. My question is, will this or any other consistent bits of EZA content with Kyle's voice in them be kept after he leaves, or will they be re-recorded? We'll keep them. We don't care. No, really, there's no reason to, and we did present that to Kyle. It's like, do you want us to take Box Peak off the channel? Do you want us to, obviously he's going to retain the rights to a lot of the stuff that he's created. Again, another legal notice. But he was fine with all that stuff. There was nothing that was like a gray area or he was concerned about. Rain Soul, quick stream suggestion: an all access Brandon Jones meditation stream. All access. Oh, all access meaning everybody. Followed by an R&R in Animal Crossing, maybe. Sure. Yeah, I'm down. Just a general wellness check-in. Hey, depends on how long this pandemic lasts. If it's like August and we're still here, count on it. Lost Rob, I have been enjoying Animal Crossing a lot, and one afternoon I had both Sahara and turnips selling for 428 bells. I wanted to share the wealth with the EZA community, however, could not find a good way to do so. In the end, I opened my gate with a dodo code and posted on the EZA Reddit. Many came, and it was a jolly time. I would like to do so again if the opportunity arises. I was wondering if there is an EZA Allies Animal Crossing Discord or the like, where timely messages and invites can be had by all. If not, is there a way I can help get one started? If you are live with us, Lost Rob, people post that stuff in chat. Maybe I will read that off, but one way that I've noticed is on Twitch chat. People on Twitch chat in the morning, especially Sunday mornings, are alive with turnip prices. A lot of people jump in there. Blood has really been on that. Maybe Blood can let us know, the effective ways that he has been champing at the bit to get the information from our community about how much their bells are selling for and how much you can buy bells for. And obviously if anyone is in any particular town. The unofficial Discord or Twitch chat is Twitch chat's always busy. It says YouTube chat right now, and we do have an unofficial Discord. I do not have the information because I don't want to bring up Discord and mess up the stream or anything. But or at least you can get started in Twitch chat. So maybe jump in there first thing in the morning and see what people are talking about. 2 more questions. This one is just me feeling myself, but I've been working hard lately. I'm a little sleepy. Blood's just been hanging out in Twitch chat. Rob, there you go. Lost Rob. Rob's here. Hi, Rob. I love a chat just says, Rob, I am Lost Rob. I found Lost Rob. Should I not have enjoyed that as much when I have not enjoyed finding Lost Rob? People drop dodo codes in Twitch chat. There we go. It's the best thing I've accomplished today, is I found Lost Rob. Ahab, since the community showcase is likely going to be very Kyle focused, I want to take this opportunity to let you know how much I appreciate you. That's right, you, Mr. Jones. Thank you for the long hours and the late nights writing, editing, and adding your best in the biz baritone to so much of the EZA content, from reviews to the podcast to this very live stream. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and your care is never unappreciated. I beg to differ. The Silver Squad compilation is remarkable. Thank you. Condensing your months-long journey into a mere 4 hours is a feat in and of itself. The way you amplified its intrinsically compelling nature with your editing choices serves as a showcase to your professional sensibilities. Your rapport with the allies is a joy to behold. Skimble Shanks? Need I say more? I could go on, but I'll just conclude by saying that I hope only the very best for you, your family, and the allies. Thank you, Ahab. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. Sincerely, Ahab. P.S. GT Live was amazing, and I miss TBT, but these Animal Crossing streams are a nice way to get more weekly Jones. Yeah. It's interesting doing the Animal Crossing streams and have people in chat be like, "This is so Jones," and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I can't. I don't think I can. I don't think there's a way I can know that. And then Parasite Paladin with a personal question. Again, a very personal question. One of the ways that I knew I loved Amanda Troop, or was on track, let's say, with Amanda Troop on our first date. I picked her up. I live on the west side, which is where we live now, of Los Angeles, but she lived up in Toluca Lake at the time, and drove the 405, take the 405 to the 101 South, then you got off, picked her up. No, 405 to the 101 South to the 134, then you get off in Toluca Lake, picked her up, got back in the car, drove south in the 101, and I believe we were just passing Universal City when we started talking about puppets. And I was like, "Oh, really? You're a Muppets fan? You like Sesame Street and Jim Henson?" And I was like, okay. This is going well. Parasite Paladin asks, "Have you ever designed a puppet? How does that even begin to work?" Yeah, you can design a puppet right now. Go into your sock drawer, pull out a white sock would probably be the easiest template to use, but you can grab anything. Grab a marker, put some dots on it. Boom. Done. You made a puppet. Congratulations. I have designed a puppet at Game Trailers. I reached out to several puppet creators and budgeted out how much it would cost to make a custom puppet of Satoru Iwata, Phil Spencer, and the head of Sony at the time, I guess Sean Layden. And I was going to make a show called The Executives. And it was basically going to be the three of them meeting in secret. Like they have some portal, some dimension that they go to and they meet. And you talk about the biz, and talk about... we were going to do impressions of all of them. It would be absolutely... there is a Satoru Iwata puppet. We have seen it. It exists. It's at Nintendo right now. You want to know the price tag? $5,000 was the cheapest price tag I could get. And keep in mind, I could probably get a cheaper puppet, but it just wouldn't look good. Like that was... I saw the work that these people had done. I knew that they could make something that you would look at and be like, "Oh, it's a Sean Layden puppet. That's cool." But 15 grand was way too much to spend on that one show. So I have conceived of puppets that I wanted other people to make. I have made a puppet. Maybe we'll do an editorial one day on puppets again, and I can go through all of my puppets and show you a bunch of fun puppets. I think I've done this before. And I checked Square's Twitter and I don't see it. What? People talking about stuff. Sorry. But one of the puppets that I did make, I also, way before Game Trailers, I don't even remember the names of the characters, but I was going to do a show with a buddy of mine. We're going to do a web series. And this was, again, it was about the time when, this is like 2000, 2001. And so we're thinking, we're fresh out, it's 2001, because we're right out of college. And we're thinking, okay, we have access to the internet. Websites are cheap. They're like 10, 15 bucks at the time. And that's what I bought Game Trailers for. It was like $12. And let's make a web series. We can host stuff really cheaply on a server, and we can just put up QuickTime movies, and we can make, this is before YouTube, so we had to like host our own video, and we were going to make a web series about two puppets living in Los Angeles that were performers, that were in the entertainment industry. And it was basically going to talk about what it was like for puppet actors, what it was like to be an actor and also a puppet. And Seth Green then produced a show, not Crank Yankers, maybe Chad can help me, I don't remember the name of that show, but then a show came out about that, and we were like, damn. But I designed a puppet for him. So my buddy, had a character that was an actor. He was going to be a tiger, and he was going to be a commercial actor. He was going to be, and he studied Shakespeare. Greg the Bunny. Thank you, Greg the Bunny. He studied Shakespeare. And so, but he was now having to do toothpaste commercials. And it was very disheartening to do toothpaste commercials. He was very frustrated having to do that. And, his roommate was basically Animal from the Muppets. It was basically, so I had a red, and I got this guy, it's in the house. I could go dig him up. Maybe I'll do puppets in 2 or 3 weeks or something for an editorial. But I made out of clay these little like kind of bleary eyes, and I gave him like bags under his eyes. And then I had, kind of looks like a VR goggles basically. And then I had poked 2 holes in the back so I could put my 2 fingers into this like head they basically had. And then I had a mouth that was totally separate. It was just a piece of foam about that big that I could put on my thumb. And so I had my 2 fingers here so I could move them up and down, and I can move his jaw around. And then I had, I got this big kind of like a a feather boa basically, but it was black. And then I was going to sew that into his head to just have this big kind of wild head of hair. And then I was basically just going to have a black sock for his neck that I was going to wear and then stick my fingers through that. And so you would just see a long black neck and then this big kind of crazy head of hair. And then he was going to be the drummer, just like Animal in a band. And the band was going to be hanging out in his apartment all the time. So this like uptight British tiger, like Fancy Prestige, was basically going to come home and complain about all of the responsibilities he had as an actor. And then here's this like, you know, kind of stoner, chill, like drummer puppet who clearly does not have a problem still getting a job because he's a musician and plays gigs all over the place. And then Greg the Bunny happened, and we were like, never mind. There's no point in doing that. If this is something that we were hoping, you know, to get noticed, it's certainly not going to get noticed. If there's a show that's also doing it that just got canceled, you know, never mind. So yeah. And there we go. That's business questions. Cool. And yeah, we're almost at just an hour for this episode of Cup of Jones, but a very quick editorial about the showcase. Join me on the other side of this graphic, if you will. Hi, everybody. Cheers. If you give us $10 on patreon.com/easyallies, that makes you eligible for the community showcase. Shout out to the vast majority of people at that tier who do not submit things to the community showcase. If every person who gave us $10 or more at patreon.com/easyallies submitted something for the showcase would be longer than a day. That would be a lot of people. So a lot of people just use that tier and subsequent tiers to either be involved in the tiers that are past that, or just to support us financially, which we greatly appreciate, especially now. And Blood getting work done in the chat right now. Blood talking about YouTube processing and all sorts of stuff. But at the same time, there are restrictions that we try to put in place. Because again, we don't want the showcase to go on forever. I think like 4 hours is the max. Is usually between 3 and 4 hours long, and it's the longest stream that we do outside of Gundam building and full playthroughs and stuff like that. The longest regularly scheduled stream that we do. And so I try to be respectful for all of the different people that are submitting stuff. Some people only just submit comments, and that's all they have ever done for the showcase. They just let us know what's going on in their lives. They just let us know what games that they played the last month. You can also submit screenshots. You can submit, a lot of you probably know this. Almost maybe everyone listening to or watching the show knows exactly what I'm talking about. But just in case people are unfamiliar, you can submit photographs and screenshots and art that you produced and music and video. And there are restrictions in place, and a lot of people just ignore those every month. And there are, so in honor of Kyle, I'm going to call these the showcase don'ts. Actually, I want to put a disclaimer out there right now. Several people blew right past all of those don'ts in this latest showcase, and I am going to let it slide. I was going to say just this once, but there may be a special occasion in the future where I would do it again. But for today, for this month, for Kyle's last showcase, I'll let it slide. Because a lot of those were done in an effort to show Kyle cool stuff. And it's like, I don't want to cut that off because this is Kyle's last showcase. And I don't want to talk about this too much because it's getting it kind of puts a serious tone on something that's just generally jolly. It's just like, hey, everyone made stuff. We're all hanging around. Also shout out that I've never received anything that I deemed was inappropriate. I don't think I've canceled anything on the showcase ever. Maybe once. Shout out to people leaving Cup of Jones comments too, because there's only one comment ever that I was like, no, you crossed a line there. But it's disrespectful. And that's like a word that I try not to use because it sounds like severe, when you're considering the showcase. But it is. If we put a 3-minute limit and you're just like, here's my 3-minute 40-second song, it's like, I'm going to cut this thing, man. And people are like, I cut it down as much as I could. It's like, I don't believe you. You can cut it, you could, as an editor, you could make it shorter. You could just stop it at 3 minutes. And so it is a little bit more work for me to do, but that's not the issue. It's just this idea of I put these things in place so that there is some sort of equality present between all of the different forms of entertainment that people are submitting, because there are some people in comments that not only leave comments because that's how they choose to communicate with us on the showcase, but some people, are nervous about drawing. Some people are nervous about submitting stuff. Some people have expressed nervousness about submitting a video, and then somebody else comes along and is just like, I'm just going to break the rules and just, send you all this stuff. And all of these guidelines don't apply to me. So here are 4 very important showcase don'ts that all of you possibly follow already. And if you don't, please do. And if you do, thank you. And if you do, and if everybody does, and all of your friends do, and all of you are kind of looking at each other being like, what is Jones talking about? Why is he freaking out about this? Maybe just, remind people. And if you see somebody in the comments or something, there's lots of conversations that happen on the showcase, replies and whatnot from people that leave stuff. Number 1, and this is something that I've talked about already on this Cup of Jones. Don't give me licensed stuff. You can maybe be sneaky by putting in video game music, because obviously we stream video games a lot on Cup of Jones. There's a video that somebody used, a little montage of a game, and they used a song from some like racing game on the PC in the 90s. And so, yeah, Twitch is probably not going to flag that. But somebody had a very funny moment, a very, very, very funny moment that I can't show in the showcase today. It sucks because it's great for Kyle, and it will make Kyle laugh a lot, and it'll make you laugh if you go and check the video. But it's a song. It's a very, very popular licensed song that will not only mute that moment on Twitch, but potentially mute like the entire stream. So again, you are now muting other people's work that did follow the rules. It doesn't matter how funny the joke is, and it is funny. It doesn't matter how good a video it is. It doesn't matter how much work you put into it. We have those guidelines in place for a reason. And I get a little nervous sometimes too, because some people are like, hey, here's this song I wrote. And it's like, I hope you did. Fingers crossed that you wrote this. Community showcase don'ts. Blood, I need to remember to do that, to just basically give you the name of the episode every single time. The name of the editorial, if I can. Don't give me multiple types of files. This number 2. This is a little one, a smaller one, but it's something to understand, because you're essentially like double posting in a way. So like some people will be like, here's a music track and a picture and a photograph and a screenshot. It's like, whoa, whoa. Like if you give me a 3-minute video, that's probably way more attention than I am giving you than other people. Which brings me to number 3, which is honestly the most abused thing that happens on the showcase, that even like the most beloved members of our community are guilty of, that people that I love and respect so much do consistently. And it's here's the word that I get prickly when I try to say it, but it is the showcase. I mean, and this is my editorial, and this is the time to say it. It's flat out disrespectful to people to do that. People will leave a massive comment. They'll be like, hey, so here's what's going on in my life. I played this game and I played this game, then I did this thing, and then I went to this town and I went to, traveled and I went to this. Here's what my parents are doing. And anyway, here's a 3-minute video. It's like, no, the video. That's it. You get the video. You're done. Tell me what's in the video, and then you're done. Don't do comment and then a video. That's 2 things. Like, what if someone left a comment and they're like, wait, what? I didn't know. What? Like, and like, if you're leaving a comment about the video, sometimes people will leave, Chum Nguyen, who is, aka Tirju Engi or Tirju Engi. That's how he signs stuff on the showcase. But he's wonderful because he draws all sorts of crazy stuff every month. And he will leave a comment, but the comment will be just like 2 sentences. That's like, hey, what's up? Playing this game this month. Hope everybody had a great April. Anyway, here's the art I made. And so he's explaining the art that you're showing. So I show you art, and then I read what he said. So it's like if your comment is pertaining to the actual art, that's one thing. But if you just leave, and so it's like, I feel bad because I'm just a sucker every time. Every time people do that, I'm like, all right, I'll just show it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll trim it a little bit. But like, and again, I'm just totally not going to follow those rules at all because of Kyle's last showcase. So one of the videos is 5.5 minutes. It's like, fine. It's a great video. It's a very pertinent video. Spoilers. It's like a big montage of a bunch of Kyle things. And so it's like, oh, all right, this seems very pertinent. Okay. You got me. You beat me. But moving forward, man, I'm going to start to get really harsh. Not on like, my harsh language, but like on just being like, no, 3 minutes, boom. I did that. Somebody submitted a Kingdom Hearts boss and they were like, I don't know when to end this. And I was like, I do. 300, boop. It just the fight just stopped. It's like that's how you do it. You just stop it. When you're exporting, you put the line there at the 3 minutes. And which brings me to number 4. Just don't exceed the video limit, 3 minutes, even by a little. I love that, so here's my song. It's 3 minutes and 14 seconds. It's like, come on, man. It's like, no. Then I would make the total running time 3 minutes and 14 seconds. It's 3 minutes. It's like, even that is way more attention than I think a lot of the other people get on the showcase. So this may be like a Jones rant. This may be like, wow, Jones is going off. This is, 2.5. How long have we been doing the showcase? We did community comments for a long time. Maybe about 2.5 years. 2.5 years worth of pent up community showcase aggression. But it's going to be a dense showcase. Get ready, everybody. I'm going to have to take a break and, cool the vocal cords before we do it, and do lots of technical tests. Apologies to everybody if it looks or sounds weird. But stick it to those 3 minutes, or I'll stick it to you, buddy. No, I'm just going to do that hard cut. And I've wanted to for a long time. And I haven't, because I'm a sucker and I love all of you, and all of you contribute to us, and I'm grateful for all of you paying my mortgage every month. I'm in debt to all of you allies, and so it feels bad being like, I'll give you those 6 minutes. But again, I'm not doing it because it's more work for me. I'm not doing it because I get annoyed personally by it. I'm doing it because it's disrespectful to the other people. It's disrespectful to everybody that sees those guidelines and follows along. But I feel like a kindergarten teacher yelling at kids for messing up paints. It's such a weird thing to be picky about. So this is it. I'm done. That's it. It's the last time you'll hear it. And certainly, I'll bring it up very, very briefly in the beginning of the showcase, because I'll be like, you might notice one of these videos is 5.5 minutes. It is because Kyle's leaving and we love Kyle and whatever. We won't deal with it today. But update: Kyle's stream is now in HD. Archives coming soon after Cup, and I need to get you island hop images. Unless you've already done that, Blood. You didn't ask me for island hop information, but I am tardy in getting that to you. That I did on Saturday, because I definitely have. I'm definitely going to use the thumbnail of the 3 people. What if Hasney was one? Who are you weirdos that were with your axes and your midsummer masks? Ooh, all right. Got that off my chest. Be kind to your fellow allies. Follow the rules on the showcase, and we'll all have a grand old time. You need them for sure. Great. Cool. I'll pass that information along. Maybe not before the showcase, but later today, if I remember to. Never hurts to remind me. Blood, I love very passively. I was going to passive aggressively, but it's not, because it's his job and he does it very well. But I love when he says, he uses the language that's, I'm ready for that information. So if he's about to work on something and he needs a thumbnail and he needs a description, if he's going to transfer something from Twitch over to YouTube, he'll say, I'm ready for that, which is a super kind way to say, get me those things. It's your job. You didn't get to work. So I need to get to work, and I need to get Bloodworth that information, and get the showcase ready. I've downloaded everything. Again, there's 3 submissions. If you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to reserve a spot, and you forgot to do it, who's one of the guy doing the Doom retrospective? Oh boy, I'm tired. I'm assuming we're getting another episode of that Doom retrospective this month, but he just said reserved. He said working on something, and then that was it. Again, it's past the deadline, but I guess rules don't apply to this episode of the Community Showcase. So I will do one last check for any of that information if I have time to grab those assets and slip them into the showcase before we do it. But showcase day, and a shout out to Kyle Bossman, and as many shout outs as I possibly can before we can shout out Kyle until the end of time, but he might not hear it. Will Kyle Bossman watch Easy Allies content after he leaves? Ponder that before the next Cup of Jones, which will be next Monday, 10 a.m. as always. And we got a big fun schedule of content for you this week as we continue to do Easy Allies from home. Thanks, everybody. And stay safe out there. Social distance, wash your hands, be kind to others. And cheers.